The biggest weakness with most AI progress note generators is that they are not integrated with your electronic health record, or EHR. And that means lots of copying and pasting and paying for and managing multiple systems. But with Orchid, the EHR and the AI progress note generator are integrated in one system. Does that sound too good to be true? Well, let's find out. Hi, I'm Dr. Maelisa McCaffrey, founder of the free private practice paperwork crash course, and today I'm giving you my full review of Orchid AI for creating your progress notes. We're going to review these 6 criteria just like we do for all of the other AI platforms. And that's how it works, pricing, potential integration with your EHR, my favorite features, my cautions or concerns, and how well does it write a progress note. And here's my necessary disclaimer: I am not affiliated with Orchid in any way. This is not an ad, and I have chosen not to receive any compensation for any of these AI platform reviews. This is my own personal review, and I recommend you use it as one piece of information for determining which of these platforms might be the best for you. Okay, now that we have all of that out of the way, let's talk about Orchid. As always, make sure to check out the AI rubric, which you can click on the description below and download that for free. And that walks you through determining what AI platform might be best for you and whether or not you should continue using it. Now, a special note about Orchid, because it is both an AI platform and an EHR, or electronic health record, I will just be reviewing the AI portion of it today, which you can sign up just to use that. I will do a separate review of the full EHR when we do the EHR series, which will be a few months down the line. Okay, you're probably wondering, how does Orchid work? Well, let's talk about that. With Orchid, you pretty much have all of the options for giving it information about your session. You can upload a recording of the session, you can dictate notes to it, you can type in notes to it, or you can use Orchid's platform to actually conduct your teletherapy session right there. And since Orchid is also an EHR, you just log into your client's progress note as you would with any other EHR platform, and you see those options for choosing to use the AI or not. And this is a setting that you select in your settings for the EHR, whether or not you want to use the AI and which features within the AI platform you want to use. So we will get into that a little bit more, but you can actually choose to turn on or off things like how much you want it to learn about how you write notes, how much you want it to suggest things, and whether or not you want to integrate things like a treatment plan. Now let's talk about pricing. So yes, you sign up to use the EHR platform, and then you choose whether or not you want to add on the AI portion. And it's $9.99 a month, so $9.99 a month to add on the AI portion. The baseline pricing for the EHR is $19.99 a month. So that pricing is actually fairly reasonable when you compare it with other similar EHRs. You can upgrade to their second tier version for $28.99 a month as the base price, plus the $10-ish for adding on AI. And that gives you things like calendar integration or calendar sync and other business analytics features. And they will also integrate all of your forms. If you already have your practice forms, they will upload all of that stuff and help you set up your system. So if you just want to use the AI portion, that might be a little pricey to pay for all of those things. But when you incorporate it all together, it's actually a very good price compared with other similar EHRs. And yes, they do offer a free trial, but you do have to enter all of your provider information and address and input a credit card number in order to initiate the free trial. So for example, like when I signed up for my free trial, I actually had to wait for something to be approved. And so it's not like you can just sign up and start using it in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, now our next section we can pretty much ignore this time around, which is potential integration with your EHR. Because you are signing up for both, it's all incorporated. As I mentioned, you just log into the client's progress note and you choose whether or not you want to write the progress note in a regular way or use the AI portion. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite features. And number one, this has my most favorite feature of any AI platform ever, and that is I was able to upload my personal progress note template, and the AI completed the progress note using my template. That means I uploaded a template that had different options like free text fields, and I was able to teach it starter phrases I wanted it to use in the free text field. It also checked off checkboxes for me. So I had checkbox sections, and it did check off the appropriate checkboxes for things like the topics that were discussed in the session. So that part was really exciting because you can actually have the AI create exactly the note you want. You're not stuck with using whatever templates are the options of that platform. It's also cool that there is a feature, and you can just check this off in your system settings, where you can include both diagnosis and treatment plans within every progress note. And it did do a pretty good job of selecting an appropriate diagnosis for the progress note that I chose to write. Another cool feature is that you can actually select prior notes that you've written to teach Orchid how you want it to write your progress notes, which is really another one of the main benefits of AI that kind of takes things to the next level. Not only is it checking off boxes for you or synthesizing information into succinct language, it's also learning how to talk like you do. Now, as with a lot of these AI platforms, when I created the DAP progress note, it was super long, but their standard progress note option, which is a template that is incorporated within the system, was actually sectioned out very well. So even if you don't have a template you want to use, you could use that template that is already within the system. Orchid also creates a full transcript of the session and saves that along with the progress note if you want it to. I could see that being really useful for things like supervision, where you want to be able to check what happened in the session is actually what appears in the progress note. Another favorite feature is that it's really easy to delete the recording after you've done your progress note, and I would recommend doing that, and we're going to talk a lot more about that specifically in a future video. My final favorite feature is that you can actually set bullet points as your system setting for any progress note. So instead of creating this big old wall of text or having to read through a full paragraph, it is going to create those awesome and easy to review bullet points for each section in the progress note. Okay, none of these systems are perfect, so let's get into the cautions or concerns. The first is that it did take a while to generate the progress note, and this is pretty typical. We've seen this with all of the other AI progress note generators. Always just know you need a plan to either take a little break, go get some coffee, or have something to do while it is writing the progress note for you behind the scenes. Now, one of my biggest concerns, or maybe more of a dislike with using Orchid, was that it is not very easy to actually view the progress notes later. So even though it's technically an EHR, it's not set up to just easily click to a client and then click to view all the different progress notes. They usually have to show up as a PDF, and so you would have to download the PDF, open it up. It does open up quickly, but then you're viewing a full PDF instead of just being able to click through a system. Also, when it pulled up that PDF, the final version of the progress note actually shows every potential option within the progress note template instead of just showing what I checked off. So for example, if I have 20 different potential checkboxes for topics, it shows all of those and then has checks next to the ones that were selected. Whereas I would prefer that it only showed the ones that were checked off and presented them more in a complete bullet point format, and that way you're not having to read through pages of information that's irrelevant for that individual note. Side note, this is something Orchid told me they're working on, so we'll see what that might look like in a few months from now. And my last concern was that although I did type in how long the session was, it actually generated the wrong CPT code for 2 of the 3 notes that I wrote. Now, why it did it for 2 and not 3, I'm not quite sure. There's potential it could have been user error, it could have been my fault. Regardless, it wasn't very easy. It wasn't like because the system was writing the note for me, it also knew to track the time frame and check off the appropriate CPT code. Now, our final point of review is how well did it actually write a progress note? Now, when I had it write a DAP note using that bullet point summary, it created a really, really nice summary that was very well organized. It highlighted all of the important things and summarized the session really well. However, it didn't really highlight interventions. Now, this session that I uploaded, as you might know, is one of the Gloria sessions with Carl Rogers as the therapist. So his interventions are not very CBT oriented or super active as we would like to see for medical necessity requirements. So the note did a good job of actually showing what happened, but didn't do a great job of translating some of those interventions into more action-oriented language that insurance might want to see. Now, when I had it generate a note using my own personal template, like I said, I actually typed in a few phrases that I would like it to use, and it chose one of those phrases and put it in the appropriate section of the note. I didn't even have to tell it where to put those phrases. So that was really, really awesome. For my own progress note template that I uploaded and taught it phrases to use, I had just uploaded a few different phrases and they focused on client progress, which can be really important for insurance purposes. And it was actually smart enough to not only choose one of the phrases and not just input everything, but it chose what mattered most and it put it in the appropriate section within the progress note. And overall, using these different options within Orchid really made it feel like, to me, of all of the systems I've tested, it is both the most customizable while also the most teachable, so that you can use the benefits of AI to create a note without the mental effort, but it's still very personalized and you're able to choose what it is you want it to highlight. Orchid really does seem to be able to take clinician guidance and synthesize it in the note very quickly. And although you know I love to talk about drop downs and checkboxes and way to make your notes both personalized but still very easy to complete, I actually think using the customizable template within Orchid with free text fields and giving it guidance on what types of sentences to start or use would probably be the best way to use Orchid. So I would recommend adding in a lot of those common phrases, whether they're things that are important to you or important to your modality, things that you want to track, and especially if it's things about client progress and ongoing impairments that you want to highlight as part of every single progress note. And it seems like you'd be able to teach Orchid fairly quickly to address specific types of symptoms or coping skills or treatment goals. Now, I had also mentioned earlier that there's an option where you can add in treatment plan objectives or goals in the progress note. When I used it, it wasn't like it was pulling from a separate treatment plan option. So you would just want to make sure that that option continues to be aligned and show up the same way across notes if you are considering medical necessity, so that the treatment plan isn't just changing on a whim every week with different types of progress notes. So in summary, I really like Orchid. It's not perfect, but just like an EHR, none of these systems will be perfect. But with all of the options to teach it and to use your own templates and to customize it further, it gets about as close to perfect as you're gonna get. I'm sure after hearing me talk about Orchid, you wanna see the progress notes that it created, and you absolutely can. Just click the link in the description below and I will send those notes to you right away. You'll get them in an email. So give us your email and we'll give you those sample notes that you can check out. And make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel because we are continuing this series on reviewing all of the AI progress note generators. Next week, we'll be talking about Session Aid, and then we'll be talking about quite a few more over the next few months. So stay tuned and happy writing.